Many students require help in literacy when in school. English as a second language, or ESL students especially, need help in this category, but there seems to be a lack of assistance for ESL students in schools. In 2018, it was reported that in the United States, about 9.6% of the student population were ESL students. This is equivalent to around 4.9 million students who do not speak English as their primary language. It was also reported that in 2016, nationally, only 67% of ESL students graduated from high school, in comparison to the almost 80% of non-ESL students. Along with graduation rates, ESL students also tended to score lower than non-ESL students on proficiency exams for reading and math. There are many support networks in the United States for students who struggle with reading and writing. Some examples include outside agencies that are free and paid, government systems, or systems integrated into schools. Some examples of outside agencies include organizations such as Sylvan, Chegg Tutors, and private tutors. Companies such as Sylvan will charge about $40 an hour for personalized tutoring or $180 a month for academic coaching. Many of these corporations employ teachers or professionals with similar levels of education as tutors. Private tutors, of course, are not overseen by any companies and will be a bit more variant in their teaching abilities. In 2015, the government signed an act called the Every Student Succeeds Act, or the ESSA, which states that students who qualify for aid may be allowed to see a personal tutor while it is paid for through the school. The ESSA specifically states that a local educational agency receiving an award under this section shall use the remainder of the award to pay the costs associated with one or more of the following direct student services, including components of a personalized learning approach, which may include high-quality academic tutoring. Academic tutoring lists will be provided by the state to schools so that they may be given to struggling students. In school, students have access to a variety of teachers who may be able to assist them with reading or writing. ESL students, unfortunately, do not have as many options as non-ESL students do for assistance. They have the same access, but they may not be able to utilize it in the same way. This leads to the problem posed in the article, "Access without support is not opportunity." Many students who are not supported will not want to or will not be able to use the access to advance, and they will be left behind. This is why it is so important to have ESL teachers accessible to the students. Oftentimes, ESL students are put into special education classes because teachers cannot handle working with them. It is clear that ESL students have a disadvantage when it comes to school. They do not have as many options for help as non-ESL students, and support networks for them are not as easily attainable. It is clear that teachers need strategies to help teach ESL students in their respective disciplines. Some of these strategies may include accessible texts, visual representation, interactive teaching, and positive teacher-student relationships. Accessible texts may include worksheets that have simpler language and more understandable content in general. These will benefit many students who are struggling, including ESL students. As Tovani states in Do I Really Have to Teach Reading? If we don't begin to find accessible texts for all adolescent readers, they will continue to fail, only to become someone else's problem the following year. Visual representations, such as images and videos, can be used in the classroom to help ESL students to comprehend things being taught. Many cultures use images to convey stories. Using images to make sense of the readings is a good way to make connections culturally. They can also be used to replace terminology that may be confusing to many students, ESL or not. Interactive strategies are more engaging for ESL students in the classroom. In many classrooms, students get bored and stop paying attention. This can lead to a variety of behavior problems. With a more interactive model, students may be more interested in learning the lesson. Positive teacher-student relationships are important because students with positive relationships with their teachers tend to do better in school as they are more motivated. As has been observed, mutual respect from teachers and students contributes to a learning environment that is more conducive to productive learning. Respect between students and teachers will create a welcoming and comfortable environment for students to learn in. There are many more strategies that can be used to teach ESL students in ways that would be much more helpful to them. Much of this needs to be tailored to the individual student, of course, as with any student. They are all individual students, and no two students are the same. All struggling students need support, ESL students especially, with the discrepancies between provided services for ESL and non-ESL students being as large as they are. ESL students need more help than they are currently getting. With proper training and strategies, teachers may be able to assist ESL students who are struggling with the content they are teaching.